Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So today we're going to be continuing on with our pursuit for Cavalier on the backup account. We're going to be going with Act 5.4.1 here. Now this is the point where things start changing up. Obviously we had an interesting extra feature to Act 5.3 where it was based off of classes. After this point you're going to get a map lock where you cannot scroll around to preview your paths and to look at the nodes. So we will definitely be going through every path eventually. But just to start off here, I'm going to give you an easy path to go with. This one is basically around feats of power. You're going to have most of the champions on the path are going to have that. Feats of power is whenever a defender gets 1 bar of power, they gain a fury buff. At 2, they gain precision, and at 3, they gain cruelty. So the biggest thing on that is just to make sure you're baiting out the SP1s as often as possible. That's going to come into play on multiple of the champions here anyways, so that you don't let them have any kind of extra boost. After that, let's go ahead and talk about who is going to be on the path there. Since we can't show you those directly, we'll show you them in the fights as we go. Dormammu is going to be your first opponent, who has the Outlast node. Basically, for every bit of damage you do to him, he reduces damage taken by the amount he has already taken. So your first hit is going to deal a lot more damage than what your last hit does to him. So you're going to want a high damage dealer to get in there and deal with him on that one. After that is Mordo, who also has the feats of power and enhanced special 2. Again, baiting out that special 1 is even more of what you need to be doing here. Or you can use Quake like I'm going to. She's going to do most of the work, but at the same time, she's going to fall a little short, and still got to get her awakened and pushed up a little more so that we can really have her full effects there. But she is a great counter to Mordo for sure. After that, you're going to go over to Nebula, who has the feats again, and also Limber, which with Limber, every time you stun her, the corresponding next stun duration will actually be reduced. So the more times that you stun her throughout the fight, the less time she's going to spend stunned. After that, you're going to go over to Magic, who is going to be the last champion to have the feats. And then she is going to have Shatter. So every time she nullifies something off of a buff off of you, she actually is also going to deal direct damage equal to the number of buffs that she nullifies. So be careful on bringing in champions that gain a lot of buffs that can actually bite you a little bit. So outside of that, again, because of the feats, try and limit her to her SP1. Be careful on that, and you should be able to get through her fairly easy. Next up, you're going to have Thor. He has no nodes on him, so that's a straightforward fight. And then finally, you're going to go over to Dr. Octopus with Bane. Whoever is the first one to land the first punch is going to start a direct damage timer on to the whoever got punched. And that will switch back and forth between the two of you every time one of you lands a hit, or anytime the timer runs out. So keep in mind that the ideal thing to do here is to do combos that are going to end right at the same time as that timer ends, so that you can, as soon as it gets switched over onto you, you can switch it back over onto them. This is important to do, and also on top of that, make sure you're parrying and dexing, keep them from touching you while they've got that timer on them, and it will do a lot of the work for you. But at the same time, if that timer spends any time on you, it will eat your health up quickly, so be careful on that one. Lastly, we're going to be looking at Punisher 2099 here for the boss, and he has the enhanced special 2s as well as maximum overdrive. Now with maximum overdrive, every time that he gets 25% of his batteries, meaning at the 25%, 50, 75, or 100% marks, he's also going to get 25% of a bar of power over 5 seconds. So be careful there, because he can ramp up to that SP2 a little quicker than you expect by getting those batteries pushed up. So make sure you're baiting out that special one. Bring in a good counter for him. We're going to bring in Captain Marvel movie here, who is going to do a lot of the work. She's great for these tech champions. You'll watch as we can get through him fairly easy here. Along with Captain Marvel movie here, we brought in the Overseer and Tigra, as well as right off the bat here, you're going to have 5 different choices on which way you can go to get to the path that we've talked about. What you're going to want to do is go straight forward and to the top. You'll be looking at path 8 there to be able to get to Dormammu and start the path that we've talked about. Quake to do most of the work. We brought in Rogue just literally as synergy champion to benefit Captain Marvel movie a little bit more. Outside of that, this is going to be a fairly quick and easy run. Dormammu here, we came in right off the bat with the Overseer, knowing that he was going to be able to do those high damage hits, and we could go ahead and counter that damage reduction enough to get through him without too much of a problem. I've said it before, Quake is my ultimate champion for going up against Mordo. She's just so much fun to go against him. You know, you can stack those charges, not worry about too much of him getting built up too far. If you're doing a good Quake and Bake, you can walk through him fairly easy. Obviously, he caught us on an SP3 there because we weren't doing it the best. So we ended up bringing in Overseer just to go ahead and finish him off. Now, the first time we're going to see Captain Marvel movie is going to be against Nebula here. We're working on trying to get our charges built up so that we can have her 100% ready for future fights. But of course, it is one of those things that we have to be careful, because Nebula can set off her binary charges if I get any kind of shock on me. We're trying to watch it as well because of the fact that we know that I can't stun her for extended time periods. So by the time that I've done multiple parries on her, it is literally one of those things that it's a risk of doing a parry because of the fact that she could immediately just come out of it and attack. So I'm still trying to get those charges built up, but taking a little bit of a risk at it at the same time. Could have done that a little better, but it did result in us having to bring Captain Marvel back and finish her off. We did get some of those charges built up, so we have something going into that Doc Ock fight coming up. Went ahead and brought Tigra in to deal with magic here, just because they can she could neutralize her and take a little bit of the load off on what was going to be an extensive fight anyways. But magic is fairly straightforward. You just got to watch her limbos. We got almost all the way done with her and brought the Overseer in here to go ahead and finish her off. Obviously, that class advantage comes in important. We revived Tigra up to go in against Thor because we were just going for the class advantage. We could have pretty much brought anybody in against him because there's nothing special about this fight. There's no node, no nothing. But at the same time, if we're going to go ahead and do that class advantage, why not go ahead and bring in Tigra, especially with the fact that she can miss those range attacks like you saw there. Came over here to a Doc Ock, again, another one that if you are watching it, you can build up your charges, but he can just as easily cost me a few, which he did there. But again, the Bane timer ended up doing most of the work for us. The one time we got it, it ate us up a little bit, but not extensively. So we weren't able to come into Punisher 2099 with nearly the amount of charges that I was hoping to. But we're going to go ahead and build up those charges anyways. If we had them right off the bat, we could have probably taken him down fairly quickly. But you're going to see here, he pushes us into binary charge anyways, and we're able to go ahead and eat up a ton of his health, leaving him pretty much all but done. And it's pretty much all she wrote, folks, because this one is in the books. So we're going to go ahead and collect the rewards here and get ready to move on to the next chapter. We'll be going ahead and finishing up, continuing on with this series, as well as the Paragon series over the remainder of the week and coming weeks. We are getting through them fairly quickly. And then we've got a couple other things coming up as soon on the channel. We will be doing live streams again on Sunday. This last Sunday was absolutely wonderful. We went for over 2 hours and just had a great time. Let the chat control my roster for a little while, and we went ahead and cleared some paths. That was a lot of fun and something that we are definitely going to be doing going forward. It won't be every week, but it'll definitely be on at least a few times a month that we go ahead and do that. From there, we will be going ahead and doing another crystal opening on Monday. I hope everybody's progressing well and that you're getting all the help you need. If you need to talk to me anytime, feel free to reach out to me on line chat or leave a comment on any of the videos. I will talk to you soon, and we'll see you back for the next one. So, peace out.